Welcome back to Heard You Like It Raw. I'm your host, Nicolina. How the fuck is everyone doing? How are my little gotties doing? Are your New Year's resolutions still kicking the same way? Is February creeping up and you're like, fuck, why did I do that? Why did I set those goals? I'm lingering. Either way, if you are or if you aren't and you're still fucking striving through and empowering through, abso-fucking-lutely amazing. I just hope you all are thriving as always and living your most authentic purpose and finding that flow and happiness and peace within yourself as always. Hope you all enjoyed last week's episode on astrology. I personally loved it. I could talk to astrologers all day. I find it so incredibly fascinating. And I'm so grateful I get to be around people like Josie. As you all know, I just love all different kinds of perspectives on this world and this human experience and human existence. I find it so fascinating. And like, this is also why I don't fucking take acid, because for me, acid made me get super fucking introspective and like literally find the key to the literal fucking universe, the absolute truth to our existence and why we are here. Like, so that's why I don't take acid, because for me it was like I'm not coming back to the regular realm until I figure this shit out. So instead, I just have those thoughts in microdoses daily, which is much better for my mind and for the world, obviously. I think it's perfectly fine to talk about the drugs you took in college, because practically everyone did. And I find it so fucking funny, people's psychedelic experiences. I just think that they are crazy, because it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how do I even explain this? And it's just funny and like, oh my god, I just love it. Even more perspectives. But I was just telling my friends the other day that I haven't taken anything like that or even fucking ibuprofen or anything in years. I truly have been all natural. As you know, I am a holistic ass bitch. And yeah, like just super fucking funny, and like literally I love that. I love all different kinds of perspectives, and that's why me and acid, no bueno, too much for me. I already think really introspectively. And yeah, I just love studying our existence, and through this podcast, I get to do that and really explore vast amounts of topics and niches and knowledge like astrology and manifestation and travel and all of these amazing things. It's so fucking cool. And don't forget, if anyone wants me to cover a certain topic or find a guest for a certain topic on, let me know. I can literally talk about anything and love talking. Obviously, that's why I created this. So, what brings me here today to you all is something I am growing through on a personal level. And I feel like a lot of people probably can relate. I really find our 20s the most unique time in our existence. And I think we don't realize how fucking poorly made so many things were on like a non physical level, too. That when we get to our 20s and start quote unquote adulting, and we're supposed to have it all figured out and our life planned for us, and we're like, on what fucking foundation, bro? Like, this is why I literally love Gen Z so much, because they're like, yeah, that sounds awful. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna find a new solution and do it a much simpler and less traumatic way. Like, absolutely not. We will find a better and simpler and happier solution. It's incredible, especially in the corporate world. I love all the Gen Zers being like, no, nope, we're not doing that. Fuck that. I quit. I know my rights and everything. It's amazing. And it's insane how things have just been ran this way and ran the way they were for so fucking long. And I'm so fucking proud of all the people standing up for what's right in the world and for the greater good, because we need this change. It's just not working anymore. It's not realistic anymore. The society and our world has changed immensely just in the last 10 years alone. Like, we need to revisit a lot, and the way we do things and the way the world has changed and keeps evolving so fast. And the next few years are going to be fucking crazy. Like we mentioned in the last episode, the Age of Aquarius is happening, and that's innovation, baby. That new. And for me, especially, I'm looking at it obviously from my own perspective and where I'm sitting currently in life. 25 in a major transition on a career level, as most people do, and a lot of people do later in life too. And everyone's always right where they're supposed to be. But looking at the world as a whole, I'm watching what is happening in my life on a greater scale, like a mirror to the world. Like we get that little bounce back of each other, a little reflection. I mean, everything is a reflection of you. I say that your perception of me is just a reflection of you. That's something I love to say. And I'm getting this like greater scale mirror for like the things going on in my life. And it's just for me a way to show how influential astrology is on my own personal perspective. Like when you learn about all these things, you can see it on the greater scale and you can see it happening on a tinier scale in your own human existence. And like, perfect fucking example, fucking Waymo. Like 5 years ago, if we all brought up Waymo, we would have been like, nope, what are you talking about? There's no way. There's gonna be cars that just drive themselves. Like it's fucking insane. So a lot of restructuring, a lot of new innovations, and I personally am restructuring a lot in the way I do things. And like this huge shift is happening for me where I'm leaving one thing and transitioning to the next. And I wanted to do an episode about the raw truths of being in this middle ground. Like you're out of the before, but you can't move yet. You're not stuck, but you're just still. You're literally watching it all unfold, which what I'm going through right now and waiting for something to like happen, not like waiting for something to happen, but knowing that like it's not the right time to put your energy into those new things yet because you're still kind of waiting for the old to fully fizzle out, and like taking a lot of the things you've learned in past years and just being patient for once, at least for me. Like, oh man, I wanted my career success so badly so young and didn't even know what I wanted. I knew what I wanted it to look like, but like I had no steps, no anything, no foundation to build that from. So I kept going into like the corporate jobs and the corporate world and asking people to like help. And like, if I could just look back and tell that bitch to fucking relax, like me 2 years ago, like, girl, relax. You're gonna end up right where you're supposed to be. Like, you're gonna be just fine and even more than fine. And you're gonna have really cool goals and even better visions and ideas and shit. Like, just fucking enjoy the ride. But it's tough some days. You really need to focus on what feels good and wait for the right timing of things. And like that's fucking hard sometimes. That's really fucking hard sometimes when we are so ambitious and we just want things to work. And like that was something I was struggling with for the last couple years, being a recent college graduate. You just want to go and get the job and have all that security and success immediately. And it's kind of like delaying the gratification of it all and really learning to love the process and watch the unfolding of it all, because where I'm at right now is so fucking cool. Is so fucking incredible and amazing. And like I wouldn't have all of these ideas and new business launches and all of this shit if it wasn't for me going through everything that I did go through in the past. So that's why I'm like, if I could go back and tell that bitch, like, you're gonna be just fine, baby girl. Like, look at where you're standing now. Like, you're gonna be perfectly fine. Just keep going through these random fucking bullshit experiences, but have fun along the way, because there's always a greater purpose, a greater plan, no matter what you believe in. There's something greater than us all. And just trusting that and trusting the process is such a beautiful feeling. It took me a while to get there because of my past and my upbringing. I was on fight or flight survival mode, dude, for like so fucking long. Like learning all of that, like trusting the process and learning the art of doing nothing and just trusting fucking thin air, basically. Y'all crazy. Y'all absolutely out of your fucking mind. You want me to trust just thin air and the things are just gonna happen the way they're supposed to happen? It's a scary thing to do, to surrender, to release control of situations and truthfully let it all work itself out. And that's why I love the song Lil Wayne, by Lil Wayne, Let It All Work Out, because that message is how I made this part of the journey and this lesson an opportunity for growth. It's how I made it fun. I use music personally as a tool for healing and guiding and reminding and affirming. I believe it is so, so powerful. And I'm actually going to be releasing an episode soon about how a music affects us and how to use it as a tool and like make these hard life lessons fun. So for me, it made that lesson fun because when things happen, I'm like, fuck, let that shit work itself out, you know? Like it really is all fine and dandy. And I'm not saying like ignore your obligations, but I am saying things work out how they're supposed to. So from going to like complete survival mode to seriously like look at me now and I am watching the process, and I know I sound silly, but like with my journeys and my lessons, like this is just where I have landed, you know? And so what I was bringing up with the song is like now when things start getting stressful and overwhelming and I trust in the process, I'll turn that song on and I'm like, fuck it, let it all work out. You know, there's like a lyric in it when she's like, Toon, don't stress out. And he's like, but I got a lot of shit on my mind though. And she's like, let that shit work itself out. Like, there's some things that we really just need to surrender to and release control to. And there are really things that like you can only do so much because like the more you keep trying to like control a situation, the more you're adding new energies to it, the more you're adding more chaos to it in a way, you know, rather than just kind of letting things fizzle out. And I think that's a hard lesson for a lot of people to learn, especially young 20-year-olds and young career professionals, because we're like, what do you mean just let it work it out? What do you mean I can't control it? What do you mean I can't do and I can't and I have to just wait and be patient and I can't just like I think they should teach patience in school before any fucking thing else. Like learn patience and dealing with life situations. Like that should be one of the first fucking things we learn in school. No, like it can't just be me. Like literally, if I would have learned patience and like meditation and trusting the process when I was fucking 8, y'all, y'all, that would have been fucking nuts. But everything happens the way it's supposed to. So that's why I'm on here and I love to scream about the things that I think we should have learned when we were younger because what the fuck? Because we all get to our 20s and we're like, what the fuck is this? And then we deal with stress and they're like, get a therapist. And I'm like, okay, I guess. And now years of trauma. So then you can unfold those things and now dig deep into those things, which is always a beautiful thing. I love therapy. I think everybody should get a therapist. But I also do think that we as a society can raise our future generations a lot better and set them up for things. And like rather than like the like old, I don't even know if this is millennial or like Gen X. I don't even fucking know all of the things. I forget. But like rather than just being like, figure it out, kid. Like no, provide better for the future generations rather than just be like, oh, I had to do it, so now you got to go through it. Like it's different and there's different ways. And I'm not saying make it fucking easy and give everybody handouts, but I am just saying that like, you know, maybe if we taught patience in school, there'd be like less, I don't know, wars. I don't know. That's just a silly little thing. But on a deep, spiritual, raw, human level, like, fuck. These are the craziest moments of our lives. Like, when you're literally shifting phases. Like, for me, you know, I'm making a big career shift right now. And that is huge because that's what I feel like we are led up to believe that our 20s, you must focus on your career and doing all those things and find the right opportunities and the right job and set yourself up for success and like all of that shit like is crazy. So when we're going through these shifts and these phases, I give myself so much kudos right now for handling it with the grace and poise that I do. And like being tuned in, tapped in, and turned on, as Abraham Hicks would say, like I can really feel this shift on a deep spiritual level in slow motion like never before. It's so fucking cool and fascinating. And to find peace within all of it is something that I never thought was possible. I never thought I would be able to handle life's unexpectancies like the way I am right now. And when you are tuned in, tapped in, and turned on, and like really in tune with your own flow and your own manifestations and your own energy, like it's crazy watching it, and it almost feels like it's, like, in slow motion right now, like, I'm experiencing, like, the burning of the phoenix, where we're almost there to like full ashes, but there's still some things left burning and fizzling out, and like something still isn't sitting right, like a lingering fire, which makes sense that there's a lot of fire and that there's lingeringness because I have a lot of Sag placements in my chart, so we fire in here. But I know the other side of this is awesome, obviously. Like things have to experience destruction before creation. Things have to die before they're born, and like all the sayings, and like the phoenix, we are like burning down to be born anew, or like born from the ashes, or whatever the fuck they say in Harry Potter, you know? And like I always say, when you want to fuck around and find out, like the universe provides. Like when I started going through all my energy work practice and just my growing and healing and spiritual journeys, I laugh because, like, yes, things are going well. We are in flow in life. But if you're not bringing in gratitude and constantly bringing that in during all these transitions, the universe will rip that silly little rug out from under you. So, like, as you go on your journey and you find that flow, if you get cocky with it, you're like, oh yeah, this is just me. If you bring your ego into it and you're like, yep, what you do deserve all good things in life. But if you get like in your head about it, and not like in your head in a stressful way, but if you get in your head about it and like, you know, like get yourself a big fucking ego over it, you're like, haha, like, of course I do all these things, whatever. And then you forget to bring in gratitude and forget to stick with your practice and like reminding yourself like these are good things and focusing on your goals, and you just kind of get comfortable with the universe providing. She's like, we haven't heard from you in a while. You never sent a thank you note. Oh, here's a little inconvenience for you, because not saying that the universe is like going tit for tat with you on that. This is just all from my perspective and my experience and my view of it. I really do feel like the universe will not fuck around, like, and sometimes too, like, other than just not being grateful and then the universe doing that, like when you are going through these phases and you're like watching one door close and then the other, and like also needing to learn the lesson of releasing control and having patience, which is something that's huge for me right now, especially during all of these transitions. Like, I am really being tested with my patience, really being testing. And then like 2 episodes ago, I did mention to y'all, like, that dog is still in me. That Jersey dog is still fucking in me. And like, even though I am a yoga and meditation instructor, everybody likes to test my skills with that, And like right now, for me, it feels like the universe and I are having like a silly little dance right now, because there's a lot of chaos going on around me. There's a lot of shit going on, right? And like, I just have to slowly deal with each things one by one and kind of just watch all the other chaos kind of work itself out, like Lil Wayne said. And so I was thinking about it and like describing it to my friend the other day. Like, it's like I'm watching a dead baby on fire, but I can't do anything. Like, if I try to help, the universe is like, nope. And I'm like, well, I could just do like the one little thing. No, 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 no. Sit the fuck down, Nicolina. Do nothing. Like, for me, the last couple weeks, like, I have a funny little relationship with the universe. Like, for me, the last couple weeks, and whenever I try to really do things and make these catalytic changes and just put a lot of energy into something new and like a new project or just a new shift, I'll like hyper fixate on it. And then if I hyperfixate on it and I don't remind myself to take those necessary breaks and bring in gratitude and stick with like my morning meditations and just my morning rituals or just anything like that, my daily own faithful practice, whatever that looks like for you. If I'm doing that, if I'm not doing that and then just focusing on my other goals, like the universe will have me hard crash, like hard timeout, and will be like, Nicolina, we know you planted those seeds. Stop overwatering the plant. It will never fucking grow. So back to the dead baby reference, like I literally feel like I'm just watching a dead baby on fire. And every time I go try to do, the universe is like, bitch, this isn't your problem. We got this. We got this. You're going to interrupt the whole process. And I'm like, I know, but like, and they're like, no, you can't. You just need to watch and let it all work out, because the universe already knows that this baby is going to turn into a fucking phoenix. But the more I keep getting involved, the more I'm blocking its own success. Like, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I can just, no, 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 no. Let that shit work itself out. That problem, that intention, that challenge, the intention for the challenge, the intention for the success of this challenge, and the amazement that's going to come out of it, like literally watching things die in order for them to be born anew and better and beautiful and bigger and amazing. So that's what it feels like in my life right now. A little dark, but yeah, it literally feels like I'm watching a fucking dead baby and it's just crying and like, help me. And I'm like, I can't. My hands are tied. You're supposed to turn into a phoenix and I can't interrupt the process. Like, it's just fucking crazy. And like, I don't know if anybody gets what I'm saying, but like, this can go in all aspects of your life. And like, for me, that's what people mean when they say, like, oh, get out of your own way. The only thing stopping you is you. It's always been you versus you. So get out of your own way. That's kind of what it feels like for me. And like the only thing you can truly control is your own emotions and how you respond to things. And it's less about the things and more about our flow and our feeling with it. I also feel sometimes like I'm like that. Another like thought I had in regards to this, like I feel like also the like the first new physical form of Voldemort, when he's like that just gross, raw, exposed, vulnerable little infant, like just fresh, like so raw, not like newborn baby, because he's still like, you know? And it's like we're just not in the full form Voldemort yet, but like I know it's gonna be there, but right now it's like a little like ew, but like I know it's gonna be full form, you know? I know it's gonna be amazing, but like ew, like what is this phase? What is this raw exposed phase? And then I thought about it when I was making notes about this little Voldemort fucking thing. Like, why like, why couldn't I just say something nice like a butterfly? Instead, I'm like, that really ugly form of Voldemort, and like dead babies, when I could have just used like a very beautiful reference, like the caterpillar going into the butterfly and all of that. But like, I also don't know why I'm like on Harry Potter today. Like, that's already the second reference I've made in this episode, so maybe I need to watch it again. But does anybody get what I'm saying here? Like, I hope so. It can't only be me, just like where you feel like you're making these shifts and you're sitting here in this just like new raw form, but you're not able to be that full definition of the goal, the dream self, the ideal self. Like, you're slowly making your way to that form, but like right now I'm just right here. But like, I needed to share this because when you heal a lot and become more involved and learn a lot and can apply it to new challenges in your life, la la la, geez, that shit is beautiful. You should feel so proud of yourself for handling everything with grace and poise, and like being able to just handle the shit when it is seriously fucking rocking you left and right. Like, I make a joke with my life coach Dana all the time. Like, literally, the universe is like, oh, you want more growth for your growth and more challenges for your growth? Oh, here's another challenge. Here's another thing. You sure you really grown? Here's another way to prove it. Like, it is, when you are on that growing journey, it is just truthfully fucking fascinating, like learning to apply learning your own dance with the universe, and learning that like in between, when you're dealing with these transitions, like the universe will keep giving you things so you keep growing and evolving. Like, you really want to manifest big? All right, bitch, here's the way to fucking season you to there. And like, damn, bitch, I must have huge ass manifestations with how motherfucking seasoned I am in this lifetime at only 25 years old. Like, my god. But like, it's funny because now I've been in this good flow with the universe for a while now, and learning about manifestations and energy and just the way all of it works and the way our mind works. And when you want those big changes, there's big challenges that you have to face. There's big things you need to overcome in order to come out on the other side like a phoenix, if you will, or full form Voldemort, or a butterfly. I don't fucking know. Whatever resonates with you, okay? And like, I'm just struggling with that. For me, it's always something like something like I just have to literally just sit back. So now it's at this point where I've been dancing with the universe, and like now when I'm having these challenges that are going to turn out amazing and are going to be for the better, but then you're like, "Oh, you're funny. Oh, okay, you're going to throw another thing in here. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, one more thing really quick. Just keep piling it up like more, more, more because I get it. I see what she's doing here, and I'm learning to handle all of that with grace and learning like, okay, this is part of the bigger process. And again, I'm not saying disregard your obligations at all. Do not do that because still do the things you need to do, but how you feel about it. You can feel good about doing things you don't like. There is a possibility in this. You can find good feelings and find gratitude in every single aspect of your life. And I need to remind myself that sometimes because, again, I'm only 25 and I'm still learning the way the world works entirely, all while understanding the mind and energy and manifestations and the universe and setting intentions and what that all really means for me. And for me, when I want these changes and I kind of get fixated on these changes and I'm like, oh no, but it has to happen, but it has to happen. The way the universe puts me in a timeout is like literally physically forcing my body to time out. Like if I'm not taking, like I was saying earlier, if I'm not taking those proper breaks and bringing in gratitude every single day, the universe will shut me the fuck down. Like, oh, you're funny. You think that you can just keep going, keep going, keep going. Bam, sit down, take a goddamn necessary break, check in with yourself, reset, because we got it. The universe provides. We already know the seeds you're planting. Just fucking stop. Because sometimes you're just causing even more chaos. And like, I'll just randomly get a migraine and need to take an entire day off, or I'll get sick or something. But like, the universe will literally force me to fucking rest so I can finally breathe and meditate and get back into that rhythm and flow. Because when I don't do that, that's when life starts to get rocky. So like me getting sick is that hint of like, hey, you're pushing yourself, you're doing too much. You need to remember the flow and remember the feeling and focus on that and focus on internally because what you do internally shows up externally. And just learning to really trust the process. And sometimes we forget about it because we get so excited in these goals and we get so caught up and we're like, oh my God, but if I do this, I can do this. And if I do this, I can do this. And the universe is like, hey, we got it. Like, I really know that when life knocks you down, it really is so better things can come together. So, like, when shit is no longer serving you, the universe will close those motherfucking doors for you. And it's to help you realize your goals and what you're really going for. It clears the path and it forces you to make those decisions and figure it out, which is where I am at right now. Like, I have to make these moves. I have to do it. And like, no, you don't have to do anything. You get to do all of these things. But some of these things, even though they are blessings in disguise, blessings in disguise. That's the way I look at like all like the bullshit life gets the bullshits of life that gets thrown at me. I'm like, you're going to be beautiful, but right now you look like a real piece of shit. And so no, like you don't have to do anything. And like sometimes these crazy ass things that come up and crazy ass challenges that are coming up, like you do have to grow through them. You don't have to do anything, but you get to grow through them. You get to choose how you feel about it and what you take from it and the lessons you learn and how you overcome it and how you just grow from it. And I never want to stop growing or evolving or learning at all. I just don't. I think that's what makes us so unique as humans. Like we are constantly evolving every single day, and my friend is going through something right now where life is also just fucking rocking her, and I'm watching her do it. Like, holy shit. She's doing this with so much grace and peace. And I tell her all the time, like, my God, it is incredible and admirable. It's so cool. Like, we get to do these things and we get to choose how we feel and respond to all of life's challenges and chaos and upheaval. And that's what happens when Pluto goes into Aquarius. But before I get to there, like my friend, I literally am just looking at her. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you for showing me that it's possible to go through these things with peace and gratitude. And it's allowing me to, take a piece of that and being like, oh, okay, well, like if she can do this, I can also do this and handle these things, and that's why I love community, and that's why I love healing others through shared experiences and talking about problems. A lot of people might think that coming onto a podcast and completely exposing yourself is, oh, that's no one else's business. And for me, growing up my entire life, and where my Tumblr girlies at, because a lot of those stories, that no, those experiences that were raw and vulnerable and painful that people shared online and felt courageous enough to share online, are what saved me a lot of the times. So I do this not for the people that feel secure and not for the people that don't feel secure, but I do this for the people that it just fucking resonates with, Like, you are not alone. And in a world of 7 billion people, so many people feel so fucking alone, and it's like, you're not. Like, you are not crazy for thinking that literally the world set us up for fucking shit success. And like, I say that as in, like, even the most mediocre of things, like, we do an awful job at providing for each other and bringing the sense of community back. So, like, how do we do that? We storytell, we connect. We connect on an emotional level, because that's kind of all we have, All we really do have is each other. But back to Pluto going into Aquarius, and Aquarius season in general, it's insane. Like, all of these changes and restrictions, and I'm just like watching it happen. And as I'm learning more about astrology, I'm like, holy shit, A, it aligns, which is just what I believe in. And I understand that it's not for everyone, but B, holy shit, like, it's so fucking cool. It really is going on universally, especially when I look at people around me and like their lives and such similar patterns and shifts. And it's just crazy, this whole new age of Aquarius. Everybody's been talking about it. It's been coming on us, and it's all the innovation. It's all that new, like I was saying earlier. And like, is anyone else feeling like this? Making huge shifts either in their homes, careers, or families, or something big, like something like really big shift where you're completely restructuring the way you do and feel and see things? Because that's the way I'm kind of doing it. It was kind of like everything that's led me up to here. Now we hit this Aquarius season, and I'm like, oh, big shifts, big shifts, completely different than it looked like 2 months ago. Like, so many things have flipped upside down for me for the better, but that's what, to my understanding, like, that's what like Aquarius season does. And like, for whoever the fuck this resonates with, whatever, but it's just another tool to help us reflect and understand about our own human existence. And like, so for me right now, I'm having a lot of those changes in like home and career life and home and career aspects. And I've been describing it lately as if I am walking through a doorway. I'm like, I'm just stuck. Like, one foot is on the other side and the other foot is still behind. And I'm just in that standstill, like in between the doorway itself. Like, the past is behind me, but I'm still kind of feeling it. And like, for me personally, I picture it like, okay, like my old life behind me, old ways of thinking, old habits, old patterns, and accepting toxic behavior out of people, old boundaries, old coping mechanisms, all of it. Everything that does not serve me anymore behind me in that doorway, though. It's all on fire, though. Like a mass burning of it all. Actually, like the whole fucking thing behind me is just flames. And like, don't be scared, my little gotties. I just have a lot of fire in my chart, and this is okay and normal for me to picture burn. Like, know that if you have a lot of fire placements in your chart, you love fire. Like, obviously, it's literally part of our fucking nature. And so I'm like picturing all of it just burning, and then I'm in this doorway and I can still feel the heat of the fire, the little stings here and there. A couple of flames keep trying to grab my legs or some shit, and then like ahead of me through that doorway, I can see it, and I can feel it too. I'm looking at the collapse behind me, the burning, the destruction of it all, and then the creation, the beauty in front of me, like this new space that I am about to walk through. It's a pure divinity, pure light and sparkles and all the good shit, all that good that I've been wanting, that I've been manifesting, that I've been working towards, that I've been healing and growing through and letting go so I can make space for the new. And so once we do officially walk through this door and close it, close all of that destruction, let all that shit go, that burning, let it go. It dissipated, it's gone. Like, we can now enter this new pathway, rising like a fucking phoenix. Like, literally, when it burns and then boom, gorgeous. Like, I can't explain it any other way. And that's the way I feel right now. I feel like I am just in this in between. And that's where I was saying, right? So, like, the dead baby's on fire. Okay. So, standing in this in between, behind, maybe not behind me, but like, it just feels like I'm just here watching the destruction of it all, knowing what it is going to look like, but I just have to stand here and watch and wait. It's almost like torture, but in like a good way, you know, because I know it's going to be positive, whatever, but I just have to sit here and like sit on my hands and not do anything and like be in timeout, which is awful for me because I don't know if anybody knows this about me, but patience, peace, not doing something, having all this energy in me and not doing anything about it, hardest motherfucking lesson for me to learn. Okay? Patience? I just learned how to spell it. Like, it is it is just not, it is just my hard lesson, and trusting the process, because in the trusting of the process, having patience in the now is crazy, because it's like, okay, I can see it, but what do I do now? And they're like, do nothing. And I'm like, what do you mean do nothing? They're like, do fucking nothing. Okay? Like, we know. It's already there. Just stop. Just let us come to you. Just let us come to you. Everything is totally fine. I was watching a TikTok the other day of this account that I think was called like Manifesting Legend. And I wanted to touch on this because every time I see a video or something, I'm like, right, yes, I understand, me studying manifestation energy for almost 2 years now and really understanding the grasp of being in flow. But whenever I see these videos, I'm like, okay, yes, you are right. But like, the things that they're saying are like too general, and like they don't go in deep enough, because and they need to explain it a little bit better for people who don't know anything about this. When I had Dana on in episode 9, we talked about being in flow and being in a state of resistance, and how you can't be in a state of gratitude and resistance at the same time, which is something I struggle deeply with in this practice and learning my own flow, because where gratitude flows, energy flows, manifestations flow. The thing about realizing how powerful the mind is, which is what the guy was talking about in his episode or in his video, is like, you need to learn what is hidden within your own subconscious. So like, that's why when you see all the spiritual and manifestation girlies creating shadow workbooks, because our subconscious mind is, to me, like the ocean. We only know 10%, and the rest is this vast, powerful, flowing energy. And when we do shadow work, we are able to release some of those old things that we can't necessarily see, these weighted energies that are stuck within our own vibrational frequency. So when I see these manifestation videos that are like, oh yeah, just realize how powerful the mind is. Okay, cool, but now what? And like, just use that energy, that vision, and bring it to the outside world. You have the power to create your own reality. But what they never share and what they don't understand is that like, all the resistance is in the way first. You need to clear the path before you can just let that shit go smooth sailing and let that manifestations come in smooth sailing. And for some, it's easier than others, depending on your upbringing or your family's karmic ties or your own past lives. We store energy deep in our DNA, and we sometimes need to dig really fucking deep in order to find and release that resistance, because resistance blocks our manifestations for coming in. There's something called family constellations, where you go in and they do your family constellations, and there's a bunch of books about it, about how generationally energy and trauma is stored in our DNA and passed down to our offspring. So for example, like Holocaust survivors, they have an incredible amount of fight or flight, survival mode, anxiety latched on in them. It's embedded in them, of course, for what they went through. Their grandkids, though, or great grandkids, are experiencing the similar things, but they show up for them on a different level because we're in a different existence now. You know, it's not the same environment that we're in, but those survivor modes and scarcity all and anxiety all show up just differently, but it's still in our DNA. And what that does, and the reason why we need to work through it, is because it's still engraved in us. We need to heal those parts of ourselves on a deep spiritual level, because those are the things that, like, we can't see. So, like, a lot of people being like, oh, why aren't my manifestations working? And then people are like, you just need to understand how powerful the mind is. Like, no, you need to understand your own existence, your energy, your family's energy, your past traumas, your ancestors, all of these things, because those are repetitive patterns. Like, those are blocks, those are restrictions. And so let's just say, for example, your family was in incredible poverty for generations and generations and generations, and you are the one that wants to break these generational curses and become your family's first millionaire, right? Do you know how much energetic blocks are in you because of all of the lack of financial security within your family, all those fight or flight modes, like those root chakras? Like, that is where you need to be focusing on in your life, because we're all connected, everything's connected. So the more your whole entire family, like, still believes and still lives in that reality of we are poor, we are poor, we are poor, like, that's going to keep you there. That's going to still sit within your DNA. And that's why affirmations are great, and you got to keep bringing that in and keep bringing that in, but you got to believe it. You got to believe that you are worthy, you are deserving. And what do you do with that? You break it the fuck down. You go deep into what makes you feel unworthy and undeserving, and you flip the fucking script. You transmute that shit. But that's what a lot of people in these manifestations and fucking affirmations, like, they go on here and they're like, oh, just think like this. Like, oh, it's not that fucking simple, actually, like, at all. It's actually incredibly complex. And, like, while, yes, your mindset is everything, you can think so many things, but you need to actually feel it. You need to feel that gratitude. You need to feel that peace. And that's why it's so important to focus on the present moment and focus on finding gratitude everywhere. There's so many things to be grateful for. Your lungs working? Amazing. Can you smell? Amazing. Can you walk? Can you run? Do you have a car you can drive? Do you have a phone you can use? You are incredibly privileged. You are incredibly grateful. Like, and those are things that a lot of people, and now we go online to society and we see other people living those lives and we're like, oh my God, poor me. And it's like, or you could just focus on what makes you feel good rather than focusing on what makes you feel bad, because I'm gonna choose the way that makes me feel good, because that's the better option. Like, why would I not play the positive what if game? You're gonna play the negative what if game? Why? That feels like shit. I'm good. No thanks. Like, when you cut somebody off while you're dating and you're just like, no, you kind of made me feel like shit. I'm done. Like, do that with everything in your life. Like, no, I'm good. Unless it's something obviously that you have to deal with, of course, make your own judgment, circumstantial. But you have all the power to choose how you feel about everything and learn, and to choose what you learn and focus your time and energy on, which, if you do that and you focus on gratitude and really positive things, it's going to attract those positive frequencies and those positive manifestations that you are bringing in. But the more you focus on the lack is awful. For example, I tell my friends this all the time, like, ones who are struggling in relationships or struggling with the single life, that just want a girlfriend or boyfriend. Like, my friend recently was getting so frustrated because all of his dates weren't going well. And it was annoying to have to keep going on dates and, like, oh, I just want to find somebody, and letting all that stress just take over him. And, like, he'll go down a rabbit hole of, like, insecurities or whatever. And, like, oh my God, I'm gonna be alone forever, and I just hate this, and nothing works out. And then they start missing their ex that was actually, like, not supposed to be for them and not good for them and whatever, but they're just like, oh my God, like, this is awful and I hate it and everybody sucks and I'm gonna just die alone. Oh my God. Oh my God. I tell them all the time, I just want to shake them. I just want to shake them a little bit and just snap out of it, like, you crazy person. But, like, I tell them, like, picture this. You see a Karen freaking out in public. They're abso-fucking-lutely freaking out because they're like, I just don't understand. Why is it like this? Blah, 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 blah. like this is the way the universe works in my head. Okay. Like the more you're being a Karen, like, oh, why is it not here? Why does the universe hate me? This is bullshit. What the fuck? I don't understand. I'm gonna die alone. And all of that, like, I'm sitting here watching the Karen freak out. I have her perfect solution in my hand. Me, the universe, okay? I have her perfect solution. But the more she's like that, I'm not gonna want to go anywhere near that. You want to approach a Karen? No. So stop being a Karen in all aspects of your lives. Like, even though I have the solution, universe, I'm not coming near you. You're acting all crazy. I don't want to bring my positive energy anywhere near that because I can't. I can't. Or like somebody freaking out, like they're just like, "Rah!" You don't want to come near that at all. Like picture it on a dramatic scale, you know? If you're just like, oh, no dates are working out. No man is ever gonna love me. Picture the great man watching you be like this. He's not coming near you. He's not gonna want to ask you on a fucking date when you're being a little bitch like that, when you're being a Karen about it, okay? And that's why I like to look at it as like literally the universe. And like I understand it's like kind of fucking ass backwards, you know? Like even though you want something, you need to just focus on something else because like the universe knows what you want and it's just trying to get you to feel good and present in your current moments in your daily life and really focus on that gratitude and that good feeling because you already planted the seed. It already knows, but the energies need to work itself out and clear the space for those good energies to come in. But the more you're sitting there like, ah, the more you're blocking and restricting that reality to coming to you. And like literally. So whenever my friends are freaking out, I'm like, bitch, I wouldn't want to date you either. Like the universe isn't gonna bring you somebody nice. The more you're sitting here staying in that reality, like the more you're like, ah, no one's gonna come to me. Like they're like, okay, you said it. You fucking said it. Like the universe is here for you. It is all happening for you, not to you. So then when you focus on the things that feel good, like, oh wow, I really liked this thing. I really liked this thing. And like you're always just, you know, right where you're fucking supposed to be. But like the universe will provide. You need to trust the process. Trust that you planted that seed. And all the universe wants you to do is just keep feeling good. So we can clear out the negative shit. Keep focusing on the good. Clear out that negativity so she can be like, hey, here's this beautiful gift that you really wanted. And it's true. Once you start focusing on the good feeling things, it's crazy. Bam. Someone will smack right fucking into you and hit you and swoop you off your feet. As the universe always does. And you always end up right where you're supposed to be. And I think that's beautiful. Even amongst all the chaos and upheaval during it, it might not make any sense, but afterwards you're like, holy shit, that's incredible. I'm also incredibly grateful for all the people and the shifts in my life right now. I am really lucky for the support system I have, and I hope you all have someone you feel like you can talk to about all of these things and crazy life changes because I really feel like our relationships and just communicating our emotions and stressors are so important. So, so important to talk about what's going on in your head. Like the water's just fine. Like fucking men in general, I'm always like, it's okay to talk about your emotions. The water's just fine. I'm not gonna bite you. I'm not gonna manipulate you. Like it's just fine. It's okay. Like you should talk about it because it's a safe space and you should feel good and you should get those things off your chest because the more we don't let it out in some way, shape, or form, the more it sits in there and it sits in that stagnant energy and it builds up and builds up and builds up and gets passed down to our future generations. So now they have the same traumas and ignorance to emotional intelligence, if you will. And yeah, I personally obviously love to talk and can talk for hours and hours. And it's always been super therapeutic for me to talk about my problems just because that's the way I need to get it out. I need to communicate that shit. I need to scream that shit to the world sometimes. And sometimes I personally need to beat that shit to the dead horse, talk about it, talk until I'm talked out about it. And then I'm like, okay, now I feel better. But I just really love the idea of everyone having someone to talk to at any time. So make sure you have your support, make sure you're getting your love and taking care of yourself and being grateful for all the things that you do have and all the things that are coming to you. Because that's the thing about gratitude, too. Like, you can be grateful for the manifestations that have yet to come yet, even if you don't see them in your current reality. You can be like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for all the money I'm gonna have. I'm so grateful for all the money that's on its way for me. Like, focus on that. Focus on the things that like are coming to you. Play the positive what if game with your affirmations. Don't just realize you are powerful and the mind is powerful. Like, realize that like you can manifest these things, but you focus on what feels good, okay? I'm going to leave you all with a song today. The song of my choosing is one of my personal favorites by one of my favorite people ever to exist on this fucking planet. My Sagittarius queen, Miss Miley Cyrus. The Climb. The Climb by Miley Cyrus. Are you fucking kidding me? That song is incredible. That song has gotten me through so much in my life, and it is so good for trusting the process and learning this fucking lesson. Like, funny story about this really quick. I was hanging out with this guy the other day, and I forget how we got on the topic of it, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's like The Climb by Miley Cyrus, and he just like stared at me. like what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, you don't know this you don't know The Climb? What do you mean you don't know the Climb? Like, awkward. This is, nothing's more awkward. It kind of like, I think those moments for me when people don't understand what you're talking about, it feels like when you go to tickle them and then they're just not ticklish, and then you're just like, okay, well now I just look like the fucking weirdo. But like Hannah Montana, the movie, she writes The Climb in the movie, and then like at the end she like takes her wig off and she's like, I don't want to be Hannah anymore. And then Nashville is like, no, we love you, we'll keep your secret, Miley, you have to still be Hannah. And then she sings The Climb, and then like I'm literally getting chills right now at the fucking thought of it. Like, I have full body fucking chills right now. I'm like, she puts the wig back on and they all dance and it's like life's a party, and like I kind of started singing it a little, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to play it. And then she's like, it's always going to be another mountain. And I'm like just sitting there on this dude's couch, like holding it, like, hi, like The Climb, you don't know this? Like, cheek to cheek, fucking. And he's like, bitch, what are you talking about? Like, how awkward. Me saying, like, no, this is so good. This is such a great affirmation. Amazing song, amazing movie. Like, cinematic beauty, and he's just like staring at me like blank. Like, to me that's really fucking funny. I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. Maybe he should listen to The Climb. Maybe he's struggling. Maybe he needs to know that life's a climb, but the view is fucking great. So go listen to The Climb by Miley Cyrus, because that song is a constant reminder for me to just keep fucking going and trust the process, because it really is all about the journey and finding presence and peace in every day. That's why we say be present in the yoga and spiritual community, because we really mean it. All we have is now. Be here now. Find that gratitude now. Focus on that. Don't worry about the things not happening. The universe knows what you want. It's already, the seed's been planted. Let it go, because now you're just halting its growth. Now you keep trying to add fertilizer and add more water and add all different soil and do all the things, and it like literally can't grow. You're going to suffocate it. You're going to kill it. Okay? So just let it glow, let it grow, let it flow, all this stuff. Just keep fucking going. It's really how you feel each day. And like Miley literally says, there's always going to be another mountain. You are always going to want to make it move. Like, life is a climb, but the view is fucking great, and the journey is amazing as well. Like, we go through this and we're like, oh, another challenge, oh, another challenge, oh, another thing. And it's great, because you want to know why? Look it back. Take a look back and bring in gratitude for all the things you overcame, all the things you manifested. And really think about it. Like, I'll like sometimes when I started learning about manifestations, I'll sometimes be like, holy fuck, I manifested that shit when I was young. Like, I manifested having a fucking Mustang car when I was young, super random, but like just little things, like I can dive into that story about my actual manifestations in another episode. But like, think about it. Like when you start learning, you're like, oh my God, I actually do think and then become those things. Like it happens. Your mind is powerful. And that's why we need to focus on the positive things so we can bring in positive things. Because the more we focus on the negative, the more we keep that. Like really focus on what you put your energy into and you focus your energy on. And yeah, like life is a crime, not a crime. Life is a climb, not a crime for some people. But the view is fucking great. And, we are all one and we are all in this together as well. So please, if you're going through something similar or whatever, message your loved ones and talk to them or your therapist because sometimes it can feel really heavy and really lonely, but you are not alone. And here at Heard You Like It Raw, this community gets it. We understand the raw experience and raw emotions. We are all humans experiencing this crazy world together. So let's help each other rise and just keep focusing on how good that view feels and keep bringing in pockets of sunshine into your life every single motherfucking day and trusting the process and enjoy watching it all unfold because these are the moments that you'll remember when you're sitting in that successful version, abundant, highest being version of yourself. You're going to look back and thank this version of yourself and being like, fuck, thank you for sticking it out. Thank you for bringing in gratitude. Thank you for focusing on the good. Because that's what we need to do. We need to build up that momentum so we can experience the abundance that life has to fucking offer. So go listen to The Climb by Miley Cyrus. I love you all. Love yourself. Love each other. Peace and blessings. I'm out, motherfuckers. Be sure to check us out on Instagram at Heard You Like It Raw and follow us for more updates. Bye, my goddies.